makes me think about people who do their makeup while looking at while streaming. It doesn't appeal to me, but I'm doing this. Well, I'm doing this because it's very sunny and my skin gets red easily. This is an experiment. Last time I streamed in this location, there was no reception or something. The counter went, and I talked. Oh, the wind changed. And I talked, and the counter ran as if I were putting out a video for about an hour. And the resulting video is 10 minutes. So, you know, I can always tell myself that my wisest words were the ones spoken that didn't get recorded. This is a cute little doggy. I like to go on walks. But I don't love the area that I'm living in. They don't have very many public spaces, and like there's not much that's prettier than right here where I'm living. But like I said, I had that streaming problem last time, so we'll just experiment and see if this goes out. I love it when the dog runs. So I titled this stream Depression Or because I'm down. I'm definitely down. And for me, depression is, oh God, this dog. I wanna, jeez. Yeah, I don't have anything to throw. See, I decided to stay here instead of going out into the world because I've got the dog here. I'm house sitting this weekend. And there's not very many places to go. I'm in central Mississippi, and I've lurked and lurked. I've searched and looked. I've lurched and sooked, and I haven't found very much to do that's like free public space. And we can imagine there may be reasons for that. But so the best thing I've found so far is this thing called the Longleaf Trace, which is a rail trail thingy. I said that to somebody and they were like, what's that? So it's railroad that stopped being used, converted to a trail. That's, people like it for biking, especially because it's long and separate from the road, so semi-safe. Although, I'll say this, because I'm always complaining. For any city that puts in a trail, if you want to be serious about your trail, make the traffic stop for the pedestrians and bicyclists, not the other way around. And I'm not talking about, if it's a road, then you got to have a overpass or underpass or something. But if it's just, little 2-lane streets intersecting with the path, don't make the path stop. Make the cars stop. It's a lot easier to put on brakes, come to a stop and drive a car than to stop your bicycle. And anyway, it's just, you're not a city with a serious path. if your path has to stop for your vehicles. It shows where your values are. So anyway, yeah, like the only good thing that I've found is this Longleaf Trace rail trail. And I don't have the stamina to go very far. So I went to one parking lot and I go for a little bit. And then I went to another parking lot that I found and I went for a little bit. And I didn't want to just see the same small patch over and over again. I guess I'm demanding. I can't be satisfied. So I made it a purpose. This syncs up with my art stream from last night, talking about a purpose-driven life and the word compossibility. I like to use this word compossibility because, hold on, I'm gonna try to reply while I'm doing this, see how that works. That was rude. I hate, love you, I'm streaming TTYL. What the hell? Fortunately, two things that I'm lucky about the guy I'm with. He's from another language, so we don't get hung up on trivialities, niceties, phrasing, grammar, whatever. And we're not looking for fights with each other, which I now realize was something that I did a lot in my earlier decades. Like, for instance, when someone gives you a compliment and you think, they don't mean that. Or my brother-in-law gave me a compliment because or thanked me for the lovely or beautiful or something card. Drawing. I'm making these drawings. It's on, half my streams are nature walks. Half my streams are drawing, art therapy. And so it was his birthday weekend. They're going out of town. So I was like, oh, I can take one of these drawings and it's on cardstock, give it to him as a card. So when he says, now thank you is that much, yeah, sure. It's thoughtful. It's the thought that counts, right? But beautiful, lovely card or whatever, I just think, oh no, it's just me scribbling on paper. But that's me. I guess a therapist would say that I'm depressed and I need to be on chemicals because I'm downing myself. But literally, it's just scribbles on paper. That's my art. And that's fine. I'm not ashamed of it. I just don't know. Like I think if so many people compliment, then why can't I make a living selling, when I do large paintings or whatever? To me, there's a disconnect between thinking that it's so great and also, it's my view of artists. I don't think that I'm not a big believer in artistic genius. I'm not a big I happen to look and see. I say this every stream. I don't like seeing who's following me, so I'm gonna flip it around. So I'm not looking at the screen. I don't want to just accidentally catch sight of what's happened so far during this stream. At one point, 23 people. That's insane. And then down to 0. That's just too much of a roller coaster for me. I'm not currently capable of doing a whole lot of interacting with strangers other than what I'm just sharing this way. And there's different ways of looking at that. And when somebody says like, there are negative ways and positive ways of framing this style of streaming. And when someone comes at me with a negative framing, I'm not going to say they're wrong, but I'm not necessarily in the mood to absorb. I'm just doing what I can to survive. I call these things therapy for a reason. It helps me to talk. And I specifically try to avoid being manipulated by the messages to do this for attention, which is what the apps, sites, the big corporations are doing constantly, because that's how they make their money. So they want me to, you know, they would want me to set myself on fire if it made money, if it got a lot of attention. I say that. Now I'm sure there's legal ramifications. I probably can't even say what I just said as a joke on this site. I don't know the rules. I don't want to know the rules. I just am using the tool that's available to me. I'll keep saying it. A social media influencer providing non-entertainment. Not entertainment. I don't want to influence anyone. And currently, I'm not being social. I don't have the strength to be social in a two-way street, except for on Mastodon, where 95 out of 100 people are kind, because they're different. They've made a choice to not be on corporate media, so they're not driven by the same mindset. So I've lost the dog. I'm assuming that he's fine. This is his backyard. He's used to being here. But I do want to check and make sure that my wandering didn't lead him to some strange place he doesn't usually go, and he's now in trouble. So let's see. There he is. He's fine. I started off by complaining. Surprise, surprise. So, hey, you found or. And I guess my argument is, if there are reasons to be down, I think, is that the same as depression? Because I've been depressed when, or like a really important distinction for me is, if I have a lot of automatic thoughts, I've known severe depression in which I was replaying automatic thoughts of, I hate myself, and I wish I was not. And I don't feel that way now. I just feel unsatisfied. Well, why shouldn't I? I have a debilitating chronic pain. Like when I said I was going on these trails and I could only go for a short amount of space over and over again, because I get super tired. I can't even do whatever the recommended normal steps are that I used to do fine. I'm just tired all the time. So and when I have had those very, very few moments when I've had treatments that worked, I've felt motivated and good, and so caring people will tell you, trying to help you, they'll give you advice, and it may not be suited for your exact situation. personally, I think if I were able to get, it might be maybe it's chicken and egg, but like if I were able to get beyond this pain that uh, so far I no medical treatment is sufficient. You know, I'm just getting to like management in a very low level of existence. Um, I went on a trip. It was a long awaited something I was very excited about. I went and I went and I went and I went. You know, I did things, but there were days where I was exhausted, and I had to remind my boyfriend that I was, you know, that I'm not doing any better, uh, physical health wise. I'm just pushing myself more because I'm excited and happy. So there are just times where I've got to take a rest, even if I'm motivated and excited. So these are sort of arguments that I'm like, I don't think it's mental. I don't think it's a matter of just, you know, getting your chemicals up and aligned. And it sounds, just talking about it, it sounds like I'm being mean. People, as I say, people are being nice to me. They make suggestions, but I don't think that's it. I was listening to like if somebody recommends a piece of culture to you and you don't like it, well, it's not a big deal, right? I mean, for some people, it can be because they've missed out on that bonding opportunity. Disagreement doesn't feel good. But for the most part, you know, someone else is really into the bear or the pit or the pit of despair or whatever, something. uh, and it's just not your thing, you know, or it's just like, I don't want to make time for that right now. Well, that's the way I feel about medication and doctors. Certain, it's like, I don't want to take on another treatment path right now because I find it exhausting. I find every interaction within the U.S. healthcare system exhausting. Is that a prejudice? I guess so. I mean, it's not it's a post-judice. It's a judgment based on life experience. Um, so I'm grateful to be living here because of the free room and board and the contributions that they're making for me to see physical therapy that I do appreciate, um, and to try to pursue some medical, physical healthcare path, but damn, that's hard. Um, just every step is not one step. Every step is five steps. Five, you know, everything that's like, oh, you're going to do this. Oh, no, that's going to take triple, quadruple, quintuple phone calls. You have to go somewhere and then go back because they didn't do it right the first time. You know, this is just my experience of healthcare. So, is that depression? Do I have a depressed attitude? I feel pretty happy. I just don't like my environment. I'm working to to change it. And that's my idea for an improved life. I know it's so defensive. I hate it, but I'm just blabbing. I got to get these things out. Sorry for licking. Sorry. I shaved and I don't know. Probably did a bad job. Oh yeah, one of the things I said that I could do would be to clean up litter. I mean, that's a purpose. So last night, I'm happily doing my drawings, and I'm saying, screw a purpose-driven life. Life without purpose is better. Just be, just exist. Don't judge yourself based on results. That's a nice. I mean, that's nice. That's a nice. But also, it's nothing's either or. It's not extreme like that. Um, Dude, I can't run after you as cute as it is. Um, I don't know how to explain. If you know anyone who's in constant chronic pain, I feel like crying. And yeah, that looks like depression, but unless you're also experiencing constant physical pain, I don't think, you know, I just, but why be defensive? Why not take another prescription to up my chemicals and be more, have a baseline that's happier? Well, past experience tells me that it's difficult to find a doctor that feels okay. It's difficult to find a medication level that feels okay. To me, it's like a months long commitment. And I don't even want to commit to being in this country for months. I wish that I could get some physical relief. I came here thinking that I was going to try some new drugs, but it didn't happen because of the expense and the high demand for it and the whole controlled substance thing. So I'm still taking my week medication that I've been taking for years. I came here to do all sorts of new things, and the only new thing I'm doing is the physical therapist, and that's good. I mean, that part is good, but is it removing my pain? No. Is it alleviating my pain? Not noticeably. Is it giving me hope for like when I have other pains, giving me sort of exercises I can do about it? Yeah, that feels good. But to be honest, those pains don't go away no matter I don't know. I guess, just being half a century old means pain, pain, pain all the time. So with that in mind, I think I have to change my original idea, my original plan, which was to come here, get physical relief, then, get pain relief, then go home and move out of America. Now I just think I'm going to have to move out with pain. I don't think that I'm going to find pain relief. I don't want to say ever, but I don't think I'm going to find it in the next couple weeks. And maybe not in the next couple months. So I will work through the pain and which is, well, what I'm supposed to do anyway. But again, as I say, unless you know this level of pain, sometimes it's better not to give opinions. People seem to have a really hard time withholding their opinions. Just because I'm complaining isn't the same as asking for advice. And that's why I do my complaining here. And that's why I turn the screen around. I guess I'm not very social. I'm, as I say, anti-social media influencer. When I remember streaming on Twitch and someone, okay, so to encourage people to chat, so I come on here, or I write, or whatever, but I come on here and I talk for an hour. And I'm not saying anybody wants it. That's your department. That's your choice. I'm not going to do anything to try to draw you in or trick you. I'm just doing what I do, living my life and putting it online because I can. And I think it helps me. But anyway, then we have these programs, these systems that encourage people to respond, any responses that take seconds. So the creator is doing hours of work, and I just saw some creature. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just my eyes being weird. And it's not just the app, it's the culture wants you to have a hot take, fast reaction, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I'm sorry I said those words. I don't mean it. You do what you want. Anyway, so I'm on Twitch and I'm doing my thing, just rambling, trying to come to terms with feelings that I don't like. And someone writes, someone who'd been following me for a while, and someone writes, "You can't think that way. You've got to blah, 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 blah." And in that moment, it struck me as it was like a slap, It was like, because I don't believe in telling other people how to think or what to do or how to live their lives. So I didn't appreciate, even if I'm pouring out my woes, I don't want, and I'm not giving the particulars, but because it can be minor. In this particular case, I didn't think it was minor, but someone was saying, like, you can't think that way, they were telling me not to care about something, and I don't think that works ever. If you care about something, it might be negative, it's a worry, it's weighing you down, but you can't just switch from that to, I mean, maybe people do. I remember when I was younger, my first method, my first attempt to sort of overcome social anxiety was to pretend not to give a damn. And it felt great until it didn't, because it was artificial. And I don't know, I mean, I was kind of aware that I was pretending, because it's like that whole fake it till you make it, which is another philosophy that a lot of people seem to advise. So, me, I say we're all individuals, respect individuality. I know my life. I'm not doing well. I share openly things that aren't going well. But that doesn't mean that I haven't considered other options, other ways of looking at stuff. I have a pretty good idea of the path that I want to take. And a big portion of that path is through territory that I don't feel comfortable in. Like, it's hostile. I mean, I'm living in territory I don't feel comfortable in. Again, I don't think it's a matter of changing me to be comfortable. I don't think that's just not my value system. I don't think that's the way it is. I don't want to be comfortable with, you know, 5 companies controlling my life, that kind of thing. I'm always going to have some degree of discomfort with that. And there was a time, I'm expecting a delivery. There was a time when, but I'm also not expecting it because the company's way behind. FedEx is fucked up this week. Not my fault. They had a hazardous chemical spill in Memphis. I wouldn't have known that. I looked it up. They were telling me local I'll think of it in a minute. ADHD, something else that. So all these things, I talk about my problems. A lot of people don't. But I don't think because I talk about them that they bother me more than they bother other people. Except for the ones, the physical pain. Yeah. And maybe I'm more at odds with my capitalist society. But what I was starting to say is that back when, before I changed in the past few years, I've had a significant change. But before the change, I was unhappy all the time in terms of trying to, how can I buy ethically, and like, these are the good people. Oh no, they're not the good people. I just found out this horrible thing. It was a constant like a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, even in terms of, like, maybe you like a celebrity, then you find out they're terrible. So I mean, all that stuff used to bother me, and then none of that bothers me anymore because I've switched to it all bothering me. But it bothers me less because my expectation is that I am living amongst I'm living in hostile territory. That sounds that sounds really negative, that sounds like someone who's not enjoying life. Or it sounds so the way I feel now, to contrast it with the way I used to be very nihilistic, saying things like, well, we're doomed. Oh well, things will just never get better. The world is, I mean, I would say these things, everything you buy is made by abusive labor practices. None of those opinions have really changed, but I've changed because I don't feel as hopeless and powerless anymore. I don't feel like, well, what are you gonna do? It's the system. You just gotta deal with it. You just gotta pick the lesser of two evils or whatever. I mean, yeah. I do all that. I vote. Um, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't sound like I've changed. I feel like I've changed. Uh, I can have very strong opinions of disappointment, negative views of the for-profit system, the money-centered life system, American democracy, societal structure. I can have negative views about all of that, and I do. But I don't feel trapped because I'm working to get out. And if I weren't working to get out of the whole country, I'd be working to move to an area within the country where I felt a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe these things are delusions. But oh, and sometimes I forget because the pain gets in the way. I have lots of motivation, goals, aspirations. I just can't do them now. Um, I have art ideas, writing ideas. I want to envision my idea of a better world and bring it into being. And I'm just tired of doing that. I'm waiting for my gimbal, but damn FedEx. See if I can remember now. Local delivery restriction is what it said for Memphis. And I was like, that sounds like some corporate, you know, because I was like, it almost makes it sound like there's a law against them delivering. And like a regulation. And then I thought maybe workers are on strike or something, and they're not gonna tell me that. They're gonna call it something weird. You know, that there's this obstacle in the way that's localized. So I looked it up and found out that they had a chemical spill. So they're not gonna say, you know, your delivery is drowning in toxic chemicals, or, I mean, yeah, your package is soaked in whatever. They're not going to say anything. They're not going to say we fucked up. They're not going to say, they're just going to say local delivery restriction. And again, restriction makes it sound like, hey, we would do it, but these people want to live and they don't want to work in a hazardous chemical zone. We got to remove the workers and clean the warehouse or whatever. Is that a bumblebee? I don't know. So, you know, we got a local delivery restriction. Will I get money back? Will my shipper get any money back? I'm sure not. Anyway, so I would be using a gimbal, but it was supposed to be here by now. Soon I'll have a gimbal. So I want to move somewhere where I don't hate it, and as I say, it's not a delusion. I've been there. I've been, you know, anywhere I've ever been that's not here, I've liked it better because there are many things that I do not like. You know, it's I'm responding to love it or leave it. Okay, I'm leaving. Thanks for the advice. Oh, my feet hurt. Everything hurts. I'm gonna stop. This is like the limit of my abilities. And there was a time where I thought, oh, if I just move somewhere where I walk as part of my everyday life, I'll be healthier. And maybe if I had done that at age 20, then I might not have ever developed this crippling pain. But this story has been about the fact that I don't think I have crippling depression. I think I have crippling physical pain. And one of my friends said in a text several months ago that she thought I had crippling depression. And I found that disturbing. I don't agree. I think it's okay to dislike your surroundings. It takes a lot of work and effort to try to like a toxic environment. So my hope is to move to an environment where I can breathe and enjoy the little moments of life. And I'll continue producing work that engages with and addresses the place I've left behind. I'm an artist. To quote James Baldwin, another artist who spent a lot of time outside the US to improve his mental state and maybe to function creatively. But anyway, there's a line where it talks about the role of the artist is to be at odds with their society. So they love and they are engaged with, but they are critical of and at odds with their society. And to me, the solution isn't I'm going to change the way I think about it, the way I experience things. I believe that I can make my best work if I'm somewhere else, and that's what I hope to do. But it remains to be seen. I could end up somewhere else and be lost and confused. We'll see. But I think it's worth trying. I don't know if I'll ever find relief from my physical pain. I don't know whether to wait, continue down the path with doctors here, or to try to get to a new location and look for doctors there. Hey, cutie. But there aren't like definite answers to that. I just kind of have to think about it. And I'm hoping to make those decisions in the next couple weeks. I picked out my t-shirt because I thought I was going to be walking amongst the masses today, but because I figured it's a beautiful weekend day and there are very few places to enjoy nature here, so it's going to be busy. And so I chose my t-shirt as a way of saying to the people, although I was going to say, you voted for him, do something about this, call your representatives, whatever. But the kinds of people who do, I mean, am I running into, am I speaking to the choir at all times because of the kinds of places that I go? So I'll show you my shirt if you haven't seen it. It's funny. Trust me, it's funny. I made it myself, that's why it's bad. Please do something. It's like somebody do something. Not me, somebody. It's funny. Trust me. Or it's bleak. Uh, so now I'm tired and I'm still bored and I don't have much I can do here. And there's not even a good ice cream shop in town. So, it's like I'll do laundry. But yeah, it comes back to depression, or is it the environment? And I don't know anybody here. I don't have any friends to distract myself with. I think I'm doing about as well as I can do with nonstop high level of pain and being isolated. So there's one more thing I wanted to address before I forget. My boyfriend recommends has become I guess he's discovered Trevor Noah, and sent me a link to a podcast. And one of the things Trevor Noah said about his outlook on life is that everything is language, even things that aren't language. So I was getting excited because I'm like, I'm always talking about language and how it, constructs our outlook. But he was also saying, I think he's also using the word language for like culture and input and understanding and communication, seeing eye to eye. It's more than just, written letters, words, language. It's he's saying that misunderstandings are, there's physical language, there's body language, there's a lot of anyway, and so he speaks more than one language. He's lived in multiple cultures, and he has this perspective where he thinks that a lot of negative feelings and outcomes are about language clashes. And I think about the fact that so I just was pondering that, absorbing it. And it's like I feel like I live somewhere that doesn't speak my language. I don't normally use that terminology. I'm more likely to say it's a hostile culture. I'm living in a hostile culture that doesn't agree with my values. But I could say we don't speak the same language. I'm living in even though I was born here, I'm like a foreigner in my own land. I have specific values, but I'm living in a land whose language is money. And that is not mine. And I don't want it to be. I just discovered something new. I've walked all this before, but I encourage myself to drop the word discover. Like, I encountered something new. It's not even new, but I re-encountered something. anew. In 1492, Columbus encountered America. He did not discover America. It's just funny. That's me using language in my funny ways. So I keep seeing these flowers that have fallen from a vine, but I can't find the vine. Take time to stop and tell the flowers hello and thank you. Now these, speaking of taking time to stop, these flowers probably do smell. I changed my expression from take time to stop and smell the flowers to take time to stop and tell the flowers, hi, hello, thank you. I appreciate you. Because not all flowers smell, but they're all worthy of a little visit, a little recognition. I'm not, this is sort of joking spirituality. I prefer not to put a lot of thought into, oh, the spirits of the trees and the flowers. Although thinking like that is more in keeping with my values than, you know, how can I make money off of these trees? If you want to believe they're spirits, like I say, we're gonna be able to come together and agree on a lot of decisions, even if I myself don't animate the natural world. I don't imagine. I don't know. It's not my way. But sometimes I entertain the idea to write. If I'm gonna write, I've got to make up things that I don't believe in. Oh, I just saw a vine. Okay, I finally saw one. So that's a vine with yellow flowers on it. All right, so the last thing I'm gonna do before I stop streaming is look at the comments. I didn't look at any of them. I haven't looked at any of them on YouTube yet, other than just, there was one day when I got a lot of views and there were just people saying hi to each other. And I hear, I don't think about this, but other people say that there's, I think Hassan Piker was saying there's lots of bots. Because if one person after another is just saying hi and there's no follow-up, that doesn't seem like normal human behavior. But all right, I'm gonna look and see. Hi, you can say hello to my friend. Okay, so all of that is ridiculous, but 3 people did give it a thumbs up, if that's real. I don't know. As I'm saying, I prefer not to worry about it. Because it's all smoke and mirrors or manipulation. I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna put out my content. As soon as I figure out how to do it somewhere else, I will. And I'm not worried about making money. That is foolish for me. That's not in keeping with my main values. I don't speak money. I just speak caring. I'm not willing to compromise anything for money. I'll tell you, I'm compromising other stuff for money. Selling my house at a loss to get out. Dealing with all of the money-speaking language people that I have to deal with to get out. But I'm not gonna learn their language. I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna take drugs. Maybe someday I will. I don't know. But I'm just gonna do it my way, if I can. Tengo que aprender a hablar español. Tengo que aprender español. I wonder if I need conversation groups. I need a lot. A few weeks ago, I was doing Spanish language exercises, but then one of the reasons that I talk about my struggles is that I know, okay, so I'm at this low level and I talk about it, but I know everyone can relate. I mean, I think that everyone can relate. You're always going to have more stuff that you want to do in life than you have time for. I mean, that should be, you should always be expanding, coming up with new things. One of my jokes is like, people die with like perishable food in the refrigerators. Like you're making plans, you're making more plans than you're going to complete. What was I talking about? I'm so tired. Like, yeah, I wish there was a drug I could take that would just take this pain away. Maybe the reason that I haven't gotten the results that I'm looking for is that a drug that would be strong enough to alleviate my pain would make me loopy, maybe. Or maybe they're not targeting my exact physical problem because they haven't looked for it yet, they haven't found it yet. Despite receiving 2 expensive MRIs, they didn't look at my hip. They only looked at my lumbar vertebrae. And now that I have a good physical therapist, I believe that the problem is my hip, and if we could see that, then maybe we could do something about it. But unfortunately, there isn't enough medical care. The wait to get this looked at an affordable price is, I mean, I might run out of patients before I become a patient of this. All right, I'm gonna sit down. Of this local MRI provider. Just exhausting. And so I looked up Mexico. But medical tourism makes stuff more expensive in Mexico because they're competing with inflated US prices. So the first result that I found, I could go and not have any wait and get it immediately in Mexico, but it would cost, I don't know, like 6 times, 5 times more than the place that I'm waiting to get it done. It's easy to get distracted by shitty things. I've seen multiple doctors, whether it's me back when I had insurance or a friend who used to sponsor my healthcare. Like, a lot of money has been spent on this issue, and no one has had the persistence to find or even look at all the options to find the cause. So yeah, I'm mad, I'm disappointed, frustrated, and I'm in amazing pain. insomnia. I'm physically very tired right now. It's the middle of the day, but I never get enough sleep. So it's like, oh, should I consider sleeping? No, because my brain isn't run down, just my body. The best feeling is good tired, when your mind and body are both tired at the same time and you can just go to sleep. That's great. I don't get that very often. So then it's like, well, what can I do to rest my body that still keeps my mind occupied? I could sit down and watch TV. That doesn't really give my mind a lot of stimulus, satisfaction. I could try to progress on my computer learning. I I'd like to, but some of that it's like too frustrating, and especially if I'm physically tired. So there's a sweet spot because thinking is also physically tiring. So I don't think I have enough energy, stamina. I like the word stamina. I'll have to look it up, figure out why I like it so much. But I don't. I like. I don't. Oh yeah. I don't. I don't like. I tell you, I don't like Adirondack chairs. Don't think that they fit me. They're not my language. Like, this is too short. I just can't ever be comfortable in them. Unless, I mean, the only. So yeah, I'm going to talk about it. You got to have you got to have tall ones, and they're only suitable for sky, like stargazing. But I still think it's a very uncomfortable position to put the body in. I don't know. Maybe if my feet are raised. Boy, I'm a complainer. If I were distracted, I wouldn't be. If I were preoccupied by something really good and positive. I mean, this dog is really good and positive, but for other pet owners, how much do they entertain you? So something else I've been thinking about, because we're all different, is like my level. So I guess I'm a thrill seeker, believe it or not, even though I don't do much. But like, I want to be stimulated at a certain level. And when I observe people who are just sort of content with, from an outsider, from my outside perspective, it seems like not a lot, or simple, or just, I think, oh, I think for whatever reason I want more, and that's another reason that I want to move, because I want to be engaged and active at a high level that I can't do here because of emotional language, humanism language. I could draw. It's hard to find things to do when my body is exhausted. I mean, so my mind is a little worn out, but still bored. I could read. I could read. Do I want to read on a screen, or listen to an audiobook, or read on paper? I could read on paper. Okay, maybe. I might do it on stream, you never know, although my voice is very tired. See you later. I wish FedEx would deliver my gimbal. I wish they hadn't poisoned Memphis, their warehouse, and delaying my package. I hope my package is safe to touch. They don't give a lot of information. Bye.